and Muhammad Ali didn't say this specifically other than to compliment Hank Aaron. The only man I idolize more than myself. Again, one legend to another. And we are so pleased and honored to have Hank Aaron with us in the booth tonight. Hank, it's great to see you.
Well, thank you very much.
We, you know, among the things that have been said about you, the impact that you've had on so many lives and careers, and when we visited with Braves manager Brian Snitker before this game today, he said, I have everything to thank when I talk about Hank Aaron. You gave him his first shot, apparently, in the system many years ago.
I did so, but that was only because I knew that Brian was a capable manager, was a good manager, and just given the opportunity that probably he could be as fine a manager as anybody.
He told us that in 1977, when you gave him a chance, you let everybody kind of do their jobs and said, okay, I'm going to give you a pretty good club, and at the end of the season, give me one back that's better. Oh, we haven't seen many better swings than that one as Nick Markakis has just tied the game with a solo home run.
Markakis, you'll see him hit a slider right in his happy zone, the danger zone for lefties. A little bit of a spinner, gets the head out nicely, swing soft, go far.
A 1-1 ball game. Now Johan Camargo. I can't help but be struck by the irony of watching a Brave hit a home run while sitting next to you. Rather enjoyed that. You must be enjoying watching this young team. I mean, some young, very exciting players that you get to look at every night.
Well, I have, and they really haven't surprised me. They all played very well, doing very well, and it's just a matter of probably getting their foot grounded and getting themselves on the road, and they can do some great things.
As talented as this young group may be, we got a long way to go to get into the 700s in terms of home runs, and Monday, of course, was the anniversary of number 715. Is there a ceremony by which you mark the occasion? Do you watch it over and over again at home?
No, I don't think so. I think my wife celebrates more than I do, and my kids does. But I don't bother with it too much.
And a called strike 3 taken by Camargo.
Hank, obviously you were one of the greatest athletes of any sport. Now, you played football in high school. Now we're going to take a look right here because
Al Downing, and there it is, 7:15. It's been a lot of years. Since 1974, Hank, has your perspective changed at all about that particular home run over the years, or do you feel the same way about it now that you did then?
I think I felt the same way now as I did a few years ago. You know, I was somewhat bewildered. I was a little tired at the time. You know, really, I had gone through a whole lot. And at that time, I suppose that I was a little bit tired. I was hoping that the night was going to be the night that I would hit the home run and forget about it.
What was that night like? But not beyond the hit, but you go home that night, and you mentioned, I mean, it wasn't easy. It was hard. I mean, were you relieved? Was there exhaustion of like finally? I mean, what was it like that night after?
Well, it was hard. The thing that I remember most was the fact that after it was over with, I believe my wife and I got on our knees and prayed, and we thanked the good Lord for what He has given me. But that night, I remember that Commissioner was out. We had Maynard Jackson was out. Sammy Davis Jr. was here. We had several dignitaries was here, and I was hoping that the most important thing I think that I thought about more than anything was the fact that my mother and father was here.
That's special.
Yes.
I have right here, this is a replica of your bat. What was it? 33, 34, 33?
Yes, yes.
Yes. You put that in your hands. I mean, does it all come back? Like, you just kind of, you can feel it again? A little heavier
It's so
now?
heavy.
No. That still looks like a pencil in your hands, Hank.
I mean, he held it with one hand like it was nothing.
Now, this is Hildred and Bradley. It's an $8.99 bat. They don't have it on here.
Now, Hank, how often did you actually change bats?
I didn't.
One bat the entire career?
Never. $8.99 or 63A.
Wow.
63A was an Adirondack, and $8.99 was a Louisville.
34, 32?
Yes.
Wow.
I used that bat all through my career.
Wow.
Now, Hank, later in your career, did you get a chance to lift weights, push-ups? How did you stay strong?
The only thing I ever did, A-Rod, was for an example, this bat here, I would order a dozen bats at the end of the year, and I would take this bat, and this is the truth, I would take this bat and I would rub it with a Coke bottle. Coke bottle.
Okay.
And it would get it to the point where it would take it down a little bit. Instead of being this size, it would be a little bit smaller.
Huh.
Yes.
That's an old-time trade secret, right?
Wow.
Joe DiMaggio used to rub a bone on
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yes.
That is so cool.
See, now these guys today, Hank, I want to sound like I'm going to sound older than I am. These kids today, right? They put the fancy lacquer on there. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to.
Hank, did you use, I know you're known for having really big hands, did you use batting gloves or not?
Never used a batting glove.
And how much damage did your hands take?
Right in the middle, this left hand, A-Rod. This left hand, I would get a big blister right in the palm of my hand, right there.
That's exactly what I was getting, yep.
I held the bat right there.
Yeah.
That's where.
Right in there.
Yes.
Show the.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
It was like hidden.
And that's where the bat was rubbed, right there.
That's right.
Yes.
I would get the same thing right there.
Yes. I would get a big blister, and I wouldn't take a glove because I felt like using a glove would just delay the process of agony. So what I did was made sure that it got hard. And when the season started, I was ready to go.
And what happened when it rained? Did it slip?
It didn't bother me.
Wow.
It didn't bother me.
Can I see the size of your hands? Because you're known for it. I got big hands too.
Both of you guys.
Look at that. And Willie made the same thing.
Completely even.
Yeah.
A little bigger.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Willie's got big hands too.
I mean, if we're going to talk about what some of the greats have in common, big hands, I mean, it applies overseas. Sadaharu, right? He looked like he had larger hands than you, Hank. Do you remember this?
He did.
Man.
You remember that?
I do. I do remember
It's
very
like
well.
2,000 homers right there in that picture altogether.
But it's your hands. You talk about hands and wrists that you give a lot of credit for the home runs. People always think body,
The
lower
wrist,
half.
yes.
Runner goes, a swing and a miss, and a throw down to second, not in time. So Flowers strikes out. We've got a runner at second with 2 away. Might be taking another look at this.
Now, Hank, where do you think that you got all that power? Did it come from your hands?
I think A-Rod really, when you talk about power, I think mostly my power came from my wrist and the arm, my forearms, rather than anything else, because I wasn't, when I got to the big leagues, I weighed 180 pounds.
Wow.
And I stayed 180 pounds for about 12, 13 years. So I wasn't a very big guy, so I depended on really generating most of my power with my wrist.
Now, Mr. Aaron, I'm going to read these stats because they're mind-blowing. 3,771 hits, 755 home runs, 2,997 RBIs, 305. But focusing on RBIs, we've talked a lot about that, Matt and Jess, about if you talk about the modern day general manager, he's putting emphasis and more power on other stats. How important were RBIs to you in your career?
Very important. The two things that I thought that when I started the season off, I thought that if I was going to have a great year, was two things I needed to do was score 100 runs, batting 100 runs, and probably hit 30 or 40 home runs.
Okay. Okay.
That was the
Those are
thing
your
I wanted to do.
You know what's interesting? I thought my 2 most important stats to help my team win every year were only 2. Runs scored and RBIs.
That's
because
right.
the only way you win, like Joe Torre used to tell me, we got to score runs, baby.
That's right. Jackie Robinson used to tell me that all the time.
Really?
He said, the only way you're going to be good for your ball club is to go to home plate, make sure you get to home plate, go back around and touch it again.
Yeah.
Now, you were 13 years old when Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. What do you remember about that?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I don't remember that much about him. You know, I had the opportunity to play against him, with him, and he helped me out quite a bit as a youngster.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about Jackie. Can you stay with another half inning too? Because it's 2 strike counts. Like we get quick act. We got Jackie Robinson Day coming up tomorrow across Major League Baseball. We'd love to visit with you more about that. 2 balls and 2 strikes is the count to Julio Teheran, and he's hanging around. Well, how about this out of the Wayback Machine, Hank? You and Jackie. Where was that photo taken? Do you have any idea? Was that Milwaukee?
That looked like it might have been in Milwaukee.
Because as much as Atlanta loves you and has thrown its arms around you for such a long time, Milwaukee feels the same way about you.
Well, I enjoyed playing in Milwaukee.
A swing and a miss by Julio Teheran, and we will continue our visit with Hank Aaron as we continue tonight. Boy, who better to talk Jackie Robinson today than Hank Aaron? And we were kind of starting down that road before the commercial, Hank. The first time you met Jackie, was it hero worship? Were you in awe of his presence, or were you congenial? Were you colleagues at that point?
I think it was a little bit of both. You know, I was a little bit at awe with him, and I was saying it was, you know, Jackie Robinson was somebody that you know, you thought about, and you knew as a black player for many years, you know, raised in Mobile, Alabama, that, you know, Jackie Robinson, Joe Louis, and people like that were somebody that you looked up to, you know.
How much did you follow? I mean, obviously there was him making it into Major League Baseball, but then following his career, you were 13 years old when that first happened, but then you're going through high school. You left for home at 17. You were so young. How much did you continue to follow Jackie as you also made your way?
I followed him quite a bit, you know, not only during his Major League career, but I followed him out of baseball too. You know, I watched him when he was just about when he was playing his last few years with the Dodgers. So I kind of emulated after him a little. I kind of wanted to be like Jackie. I wanted to be like him. I wanted to take some of the things that he had gone through and try to furbish it and throw it to some of the other black players that I didn't know of.
Now, Hank, you played high school football, and in high school you played softball.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
I won't talk about the football because it but no, softball, A-Rod, was something that I played very well. Mm-hmm. I was a very good softball player. I loved it. Yeah, I did. I loved softball. I love softball, and you know, football was something that I think that I don't know. I just. Yeah, I didn't want to be hit.
You know what's funny? I talk to all the NFL players, and they don't want to play baseball because they don't want to get hit with the baseball. That's the irony. But I mean, what I love about it is you could have played any sport: basketball, baseball, football, soccer, and you chose the greatest game in the world, baseball.
That's right.
And you just loved it from day one.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved baseball.
Yeah.
I love baseball, and in fact, growing up in Mobile, Alabama, you know, there were no baseball teams, was nothing other than just me pretending like I was a 5 or 6 guys playing baseball. Mm-hmm. Throw a ball over your house now.
Really?
Wow.
Over your house, and go around on the side and catch it before it come down.
No.
Now this is a house that was built not flat top.
Yeah.
Was built.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so you would throw the ball and then run around, or you'd have obviously a few other guys out there too. But the game was
Yes.
throw it over, try to catch it on the other side, figure out where it was going to come down.
And I would take, you know, when I was playing baseball, I used to take bottle tops.
Yeah.
Little Coke tops.
Yeah.
And throw them.
And hit him with a stick.
And hit him with a stick, broomstick.
Yep, I've done that.
Oh yeah, that was my baseball.
See, if kids would do that today, Hank, they'd be working on their exit velo and their launch angle with the bottle tops. It wouldn't be as much fun. 2 gone for Robinson Cano, named after Jackie Robinson, appropriately, as we continue visiting with Hank Aaron.
Oh.
There's a knock into right field. You know, I have a question for you, Hank, because there's so much memorabilia that people have from your career. A signed ball by you, a program. Did you keep any memorabilia in your career?
You know, the only thing that I have, I don't even have you notice tonight, I don't even have a watch, a ring. Everything that I own is in Cooperstown.
Wow.
Everything.
Wow.
Everything that I've ever that was given to me is in Cooperstown. My locker's in Cooperstown. Everything. Wow. Everything is in Cooperstown.
Is that because you wanted to and it? You didn't want it just for your own personal, but you wanted everyone to be able to see it?
I wanted everybody to see it. And I also was, I just felt like sharing it with the world was the way that I was raised. My mother said, hey, you know, you were a baseball player, but you shared all of your skills with the world, and you should share all of your things that you accomplished with the world.
Now, when you go back there, though, when you go back to Cooperstown, are there certain things? I mean, there's so much of your stuff that's there, but are there certain things that you kind of reminisce or gravitate towards?
Yeah. I don't know. You know, I would say that the conversation between myself, Hall of Fame, and people who are there are people that know what the things that I've been through, and they know exactly what it is.
You're probably the only guy that could walk into Cooperstown and say, hey guys, where's my locker? 2 balls and a strike to Michael Conforto.
I'll tell you who can't say that is me.
Well, I mean,
hey, Hank, all seriousness here. In the game today, everyone talks about launch angle. I know that talking to Willie, Barry, myself, we wanted to hit down through the ball. What was your approach?
Same thing.
Okay.
You know, we talked about that the other day. There is very few players that I think that can take a bat. I can't do it here, but and swing this way. You usually swing this and roll your top hand.
Yeah.
And the ball comes off that way. Oh yeah, you always chop down on the ball.
Me too.
Yeah.
I always want it to be top hand.
Yes.
Today.
And roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to break down your swing, Hank.
That's it.
I want to hear him break it down.
It's been a few years since you were out there. Here we go. Break down your own swing for us.
Okay.
Right there.
See, yep.
Oh, I mean, you were getting some momentum in there.
Yes.
A little Charlie Lau momentum. Front foot.
Was it always like that? Like, did you always kind of just get so far into that front side? And
That's right. I try to make sure that all of my weight is on the outside. You know.
Big swing from Michael Conforto. A ball well hit out to right that Markakis runs down at the wall. Can we impose on you for another half inning?
please.
Yes.
Please.
Oh, we would love that. We appreciate it. You better be careful, though. You're gonna be here in the 9th if you don't say no to us at some point. More with Hank Aaron as we continue. Back in Atlanta, visiting with number 44, Hank Aaron, in a 1-1 ball game between the Mets and the Braves. Welcome back inside, and Hank, kind enough to take a lot of time with us, very generously. So we so appreciate the visit today.
Thank you.
We have all these old photos that we want to get you to react to. And as Jacob deGrom goes back to work against the top of the order, it's Rbis, Donaldson, and Freeman here for Atlanta. There's one we looked at today. There's a base hit for Rbis. 1952, and a very young Hank Aaron. I think you're 18 years old here. You're about to start your professional baseball career. What's the first thing that pops into your mind when you look at that young man?
Well, I look at that young man, I say, you know, I left home with $2 in my pocket, wearing my sister's shoes, and had nothing else to think about other than hoping that I could go to play with the Indianapolis Clowns, which is in the Negro League, and hope that I could do well.
Wow.
And you said that you had everything in your life. Everything was in the small box or bag that you had in your hand. Your whole life.
Everything.
I mean, that's incredible.
Didn't have anything else.
Well, not even a glove.
I didn't have a glove, and it was almost 2.5 weeks before I even was permitted with a jacket that the Clowns, Indianapolis Clowns baseball team would give me. And I was freezing.
And Hank, Jackie Robinson,
Wow.
he passed away in the fall of 1972.
Right.
Any conversations you had with Jackie that you can share with us that perhaps was inspired?
Well, A-Rod, I had lots of conversation with Jackie. The one that I always remember was the fact that the second year that we were in the big leagues, we used to take the Dodgers and the Braves used to have a barnstorming team that they would go to different places around the South and play. And Jackie, of course, would never go to these hotels because they wouldn't permit black and white to go there. So what Jackie, Campy, and Newcomb would always do would go someplace to a hotel and they would play cards, the three of them, or the four of them. And I always felt like, I said, I got to learn something from these guys. And I used to always sit in the back of the room and watch all of them just talk.
Wow.
Talk about baseball, talk about what things are and where things should be. And Jackie always felt like no matter how much he hit, no matter what he did, that there was always room for improvement. And that's what really that stuck out in my mind, that he was one that always felt like there was always room, that he needed to have someone to
Rbis running, and on the throw down, he'll get to third.
There was always someone that could always tell him what to do.
Who was the best card player in that group?
I don't think any of them.
You always said that, you were telling us even just a minute ago, that there was so much that you even emulated from Jackie, that you would watch him.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
And I know there was a lot.
He was such a tremendous athlete. He wasn't the greatest athlete in the world, but what he was, he could go out and make you change direction in which you thought about winning a ball game.
Really?
I never forget that, we played him a game in Brooklyn and Rbis Field, and we hit him 5-0 or 6-0 or something like that. And he came up in the 5th or 6th inning, and he got a base on ball. He walked to first base, stole second, didn't steal third, but got in a rundown between second and third.
Wow.
And made sure that the guy threw the ball away and got a chance to go all the way home.
Hank, talk to us about this situation if you're at the plate right now. You got a runner at third with less than 2 out and the infield's in. Does your strike zone get a little bigger? What's Hank Aaron's approach right here?
The one thing that I think that bothers me about the guys today versus what I see right now is strikeouts. That would not enter into my mind. Striking out. I would make sure that I get a piece of the ball somewhere and make sure that guy from third base come home.
Exactly. I
Yes.
mean, the tolerance for strikeouts is unbelievable today.
It's terrible.
If you don't put the ball in play, if you don't put pressure on the defense, simply in October, you're not going to win.
That's true.
Hank, when you look at it, first of all, I want to tell you, Buster this morning told us in our production meeting that you were you would have cross-handed the way.
Cross-handed.
Yeah. What was that about? Where'd you get that from? I mean.
Well, that show you that I didn't have anybody to help me. So in order, I'll tell you just.
You even know to wait for
Well,
the pitch.
hitting right-handed. instead of hitting this way, I would hit this way.
It's crazy. So did you have to lower your hands even to be able to
See,
just get?
You know, the most amazing thing, A-Rod, was the fact that I even came very close to being a switch hitter.
Really?
Yes. Because being a cross-hand hitter, all I had to do was turn around and be a... And I did it for a game and a half and did well. And the only reason I didn't continue to do it was the fact that I was one of my teammates. This is a long time ago.
Braves take a 2-1 lead.
This was a long time ago. When one of my teammates was standing behind home plate, I swung a bat, turned the batter loose, went through the screen and hit him and broke his nose.
Wow.
And I didn't pick up a bat since then.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, that was it.
But you said, because you had no one to teach you. So when you first grabbed a bat, no one told you which.
Nobody told me what to do.
And so you just grabbed it.
I just grabbed it
and continued, and no one ever said a thing.
Never taught me.
I mean, even as you came through. I mean,
no.
Younger.
And Hank, it was because of Jackie Robinson and people like yourself and Willie and Roberto Clemente that I got an opportunity to play. Now, if you look at this young man, Ronald Acuna Jr., I mean, he looks like he has the ability to be something really special. What are some of the things you like about him?
Well, you know what I like about him that I liked about you the same way. I remember the first game I saw you play, Woody Woodruff was your general manager, I believe.
That's right, Woody Woodward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woody and I were very good friends.
Okay.
Very good friends. And Woody told me one day, and this was when you were, I think this is your first year in the big leagues.
Okay.
He said, I want you to come to the ballpark. I want you to see a young kid. I said, I got someplace else. He said, no, I want you to watch this kid play. And I went and watched you play. And at that moment, I said to myself, I said, this young man has all the ability to be everything that he wants to be. He can be a 400 hitter. He can do whatever he wants to do with baseball. I said, all he got to do is just keep improving what he's been doing.
Well, thank you.
That was my good friend Woody Woodruff.
Wow.
I got to tell you, Hank, anytime that you were even in the building that people thought, that players thought you would come, you're idolized and revered, not by only my generation, but this generation down there.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I got giddy. I mean, I took off my headset when they said you were here. You weren't even coming on yet. I left. I went back there just to be able to hang out with you and talk to you and be around you. And you know this. But I think going back to even current players now, and you talked about Alex, but you know, Ronald Acuna Jr., I mean, there's so many great young Braves players.
Oh,
but
yes.
when you watch this guy's skills and what he's able to do, we just saw the hit he just had. But what do you see?
I see the ability to do some things that probably that other young players are not capable of doing. The one thing that I think that the difference in he and A-Rod that I saw a long time ago is the fact that this young man here, and I'm not saying it just because he's here, but I saw him play different positions. I saw him catch balls. I think that this kid here can do everything that he want to do. He got tremendous power, can hit the ball to all parts of the field, and I love the way he gravitates to the game. You know.
Here's your swing right here.
It's Ronald.
It looks like a young Hank Aaron right there.
That stride. He's got better equipment, though.
Sure has.
He sure does. Hank, you know what I love about this young man? I mean, Andrew Jones is a dear friend of mine, and a guy that just played as good a center field as anyone I've ever seen. But if you look at his miss rate, his chase rate was about over 35%. This young man has eagle eye. He only chases less than 17%. The rare ability to have both power and discipline, that's a rare combination.
And you know, A-Rod, he's very young.
21 years old.
21 years old. You know, yes.
And he can hit the ball to right center, left center.
Yes.
Counts 0-1 on Johan Camargo. The Braves have struck for a run here in the third. A couple of first pitch singles, a walk, and a stolen base. And there's one that gets away from Ramos, as a gust of wind has opened up a package of napkins someplace on the top tank, and that's That's why it looks like a party favor has just sneezed onto the field.
He's making jokes.
It gets a little breezy here, Hank. We have noticed that. There's a little bit of a wind that can play games in this new ballpark. Beautiful place, though. This is our first Sunday night telecast here. We love it.
Thank you. I think it's a wonderful ballpark.
A ball and a strike to count to Camargo. I don't know that we have all the time to digest this, but we have a scouting report on you, Hank, and because information is thrown around so even-handedly these days. The original individual player report on a young Hank Aaron. Great pair of hands, seems relaxed at all times, and a good wrist hitter. Exactly what you told us a little while ago.
Isn't that an understatement?
Somebody saw it.
Relaxed at all times. I mean,
boy, DeGrom is just missing by the finest of margins, and now it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Camargo.
how did you handle big pressure moments? You had so many of them.
I don't know. I suppose I went up there with the idea of letting things fall wherever they may. You know, really. It didn't worry me too much. You know, really.
And that's what the scouting report said.
Right.
You were pretty happy, pretty relaxed.
Yes, I tried to be. I tried to be.
Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. DeGrom was able to strike out Markakis on a 3-2 pitch. All 5 of his last outs have been recorded via the punch out, trying to strand a pair here and keep it just a 1-run game.
This guy's got good stuff. He's a good pitcher.
Jacob DeGrom.
Yes.
There we go with the full count pitch. And Camargo lines it foul.
This is a good at bat.
Yes, it is.
I mean, Camargo has battled off, I think, all 3 of his pitches. We've seen the slider, the fastball, the changeup.
Interesting approaches this inning, right? Because Albies and Acuna singled on the first pitch. When you faced an elite pitcher, Hank, were you looking to jump him early?
Not really. When you face pitchers like Gibson, Koufax, and people like that, what you usually do is try to wait for them to make a mistake.
Okay.
Usually they didn't make too many.
Ball 4 loads the bases, and it's going to draw a visit from the Mets dugout. Again, DeGrom just off the plate as Dave Island comes out for a chat. You know, there's been some similarities here tonight between what's gone on with DeGrom this evening, what happened on Tuesday in New York. The 2 strike counts, there have been a number of them that have gotten away. He's missing by just that much, just a little bit off the plate. Has not been as automatic as he was in his first 2 starts and in all of 2018.
And DeGrom, Matt, is visibly not happy with home plate umpire Alan Porter, feeling like those are pitches he needs, wants, and deserves.
Well, the bases are loaded with Freeman, Acuna, and Camargo. And DeGrom will go back to work on Ender Inciarte, who singled against him back in the second.
"98 miles an hour. I mean, Hank, think about that. And that's like every day now. I mean, it's crazy. Zach Wheeler was throwing Friday night, hit 101.
Oh, man.
Oh, we're just kind of desensitized to the velocity, right? It used to be a guy threw 95 miles an hour. It caught your attention. Now, as Jess mentions, that's everybody now.
Everybody throws that, you know.
A ball and a strike to count to Inciarte. You mentioned Gibson, Hank. Was that your toughest opponent?
The toughest pitch, the one that threw the hardest to me was a big tall guy that used to pitch with the Dodgers named Stan Williams.
Oh, Stan coached me. He was my coach in Seattle. Steamer, they called him.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
Again, just missing is DeGrom. That was not the name I was expecting.
I know.
Well,
Just means
Stan Williams. Stan Williams was.
He was big and strong.
And
a little crazy.
Now you said it, I didn't.
he was trying to, what should I say?
And there's a called strike 3 taken by NCRT.
Well.
Hank, we can't thank you enough for the visit today.
Thank you very much.
What a pleasure being with you and spending some time with you.
Thanks, A-Rod.
You are the greatest.
Good luck to you.
And thank you for inspiring me so much.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hank.
you. Thank you.